Hello and welcome back to the Painting a Monster for Beginners Substance Painter tutorial. This is part 8, and in this video we're going to be adding shadows to the shell. We're just doing everything incrementally to build up to the result we want. So in this case what I'll do is I'll create a new fill layer, and I'll put this in the masked section. I'll have it underneath the midtones and highlights, and then I will turn off everything except for color. Make it a much darker color. And then what we will do is mask this. So right click, add a black mask. And then we're going to select a brush. So open up the shelf, window, views, shelf, go to a brush. So in this case, we'll use artistic heavy sponge, I think. Yeah, heavy sponge. And then we're going to add size change for when you paint, then reduce the flow. And then what we can do is paint in these details. So we can start adding little shadowy sections where the shell connects to the inside. So I don't really want to get too much of this because this is going to be painted with lava in the next video. So we'll get some of the edges, but we don't need to get like this part here. We just need to get like where the shell connects to other parts. So mostly like here. We'll hit up this one as well. Just gonna kind of go along the edges. We can double click on the name to rename this to shadows. And we'll just go through. This will be pretty quick. It won't be too crazy. I don't want to add too many shadows to the shell itself, at least not yet. So for now, we just want to darken these edges a little bit. And another thing I'll do, we'll go back to the fill. We'll go to height, and let's give it a negative height of negative 0.03. So now when we paint, there's a little bit of a height difference. Just for some little texture. Actually, let's make it 0.06. Let's try that. So there's even more. So it's kind of hard to tell right now. Then you have to click back on the mask to paint on it. Alright, so we're just going to keep going through, adding these shadows. You can kind of see the texture popping through now. And I might change the color. It's like a little too dark right now. I don't want it to be as dark. Or maybe I do. Let's see. I want to look at the top and compare it to the bottom before we move on to the next part. Alright, let's see what we got here. So that's the effect of it. It's a little subtle thing. I definitely add something. It kind of almost looks like ambient occlusion, which usually creates these kind of shadows where there's different parts of the model meeting. So it kind of looks like that to some degree. We can hit up the veins a little bit, like these sections here, just slightly. Then we'll do the bottom, and that'll pretty much be it for this one. And then we'll move on to starting with the emissive layer for the lava and the cracks. This is where, so like where these cracks are in the shell, that's where we're going to be adding lava. And then I'd also want to do something with like different materials. So there's like a transition on the actual creature where parts of it look lava-like. So it'll have a kind of cool, unique appearance. So we're just painting in these ridges here. Now this, of course, is hand painting. You don't have to hand paint things. There are ways to make materials that achieve kind of similar results to this. You definitely have less control when you use materials because the materials follow certain rules, and a lot of times it's easier just to hand paint the results you want for like very specific things. But materials can be used to great effect, of course. Alright, let's do the bottom now. So just where these meet. And then of course we'll paint the actual bottom of the shell a little bit. So a lot of this is just like repeating the same steps from earlier, but doing it with different layers, using masks still, so that we can edit things as we need to. Alright, I think we've come back. Alright, so we're back to the beginning, starting area. So let's get the bottom. Some of these cracks here. You can always increase the brush size if you want to do larger areas. Alright, let's check out this result now. So this is the shadows added. So you can see it mostly along where the shell meets the inside guy, which is what we want. And we don't want too much in these ridges here because we're going to be painting over this anyways. So we can have like where these connect, but the inside here is going to be painted with a new material, which we will hand paint. We're going to be using emissive to make like lava, which should look pretty cool. It won't be animated, but it'll still have like a glow to it. So that'll be kind of fun. But I think that's good for this one. We just basically added a quick shadow layer. So we have shadows, midtones, highlights on the shell. Some more refined visuals. This is like a painter process. Like if you do digital painting, they tend to paint shadows, midtones, highlights, and make like adjustments and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. If you found this useful or are following along, definitely like and subscribe and drop a comment. Let me know what you think. But here's the result we have. I think this is starting to look pretty decent. And this isn't finished yet. We still have probably a few more videos to add more microsurface in some areas, to add the lava sections, to refine the shell, and then I also want to add some more different properties to the guy, like the actual creature. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next one.